Would you believe me if I told you that these aren't even all of the books that I've got to show you today? Oh my God. Because I've also got this pile. Hello my gorgeous people, my name is Michaela. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things books. Today we have the ultimate of ultimate, the final boss of book hauls. I think I have over 30 books to show you, and I just want to preface this by saying that this is a collective book haul. So I have been collecting these books since my last book haul, which was around 2 months ago, which is still pretty extreme. It's still a lot of books. Most of these books I've bought myself. However, some are from publishers, which I'm always so grateful to receive advanced copies of. But we've got a lot of books to talk about, so should we just get straight into it? Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for being here. Let's get into it. We're going to go in no particular order. I'm literally just going to pick these books out at random. And the first one is Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson. This was a pre-order that I did from Waterstones and it arrived a couple of days ago. And guys, if you appreciate a floppy book, let me know in the comments. Like, I'm literally obsessed. This is a brand new thriller book that's just come out. I actually haven't read anything from this author before. However, the premise really intrigues me as it's a podcast style thriller, and I really do enjoy a podcast style thriller. So we meet a girl called Poe who has a successful true crime podcaster where she invites people to come on her podcast and confess their crimes. They can confess their crimes anonymously, and obviously people love tuning in because, you know, juicy gossip. And then one day somebody comes on the podcast and they claim to have killed Poe's mother. But she's like, I think you might be lying because I know who the person who killed my mother is, and he's dead because I killed him. I haven't seen anybody reviewing this book yet, but I've had a quick flick through and it's got like over 100 chapters in it, and I love a book with short chapters. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson has just come out in paperback, and I actually really like the colours on this paperback. I think it's a lot nicer than what the hardback was. I think the hardback was just white, but I'm loving this blue. So I'm pretty sure that this is a YA novel, but I love Holly Jackson. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, that's one of my favourite books. So I'm hoping that this is gonna like give me all the vibes of that, like without being, because I've heard people say it's quite similar to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I really hope it's not. The book follows a girl called Belle whose mum Rachel went missing 16 years ago, and nobody ever knew what happened to her. And now a documentary is being filmed on it when her mum just turns back up and is like, surprise, I'm back. So like I said, this is YA, but Holly Jackson does have her first adult thriller coming out this summer, and I literally can't contain my excitement. You know I've got that pre-ordered, right? I can't believe the book that I'm about to show you. I can't believe that I was lucky enough to receive an arc of this book. I can't explain to you the emotions I went through when I received this. Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. Like, what the actual... But guys, that's literally not all. It's signed. Like, bury me with a copy of this book. I'm holding the book like this because the front cover, for some reason, like the name of the books are never really on the front cover of ARCs. I don't know why, but it's on the side and it's on the back. But this is Lisa Jewell's next thriller that's coming out in July. And I could scream. I literally can't wait to read this book. There's a few of us that are going to buddy read it, so I think we may end up doing it. Maybe this month, but probably next month. I can't wait. I know I'm going to love it. Lisa Jewell is my queen. Like, sometimes I just can't believe that, like, my silly little, like, book videos that I make have, like, led to this. It's actually mental. It blows my mind. I also do have the finished copy pre-ordered as well, like another signed edition, because clearly I've got problems. This follows a woman who thinks she's met like her dream man. He moves in with her, and then as soon as he's like wormed his way into her life, she realises he's not who she thinks she is, and she wished that she didn't let him in. If you've watched any of my videos, you will probably know that I'm in my cozy mystery era. This is like a new genre that I found by coming over onto Booktube, and I am literally obsessed. Like, I can't explain to you how much like this is my new favourite genre. So I've picked up 3 books that all sound so cute. And the covers, it's the covers of them, guys. I literally can't say no to them. The first one is Double Mocha Blues by Tyora Moody. This is a podcast style cozy mystery. So I love it in thrillers, and I know I'm gonna love it in cozy mysteries. And it follows a woman that is a barista. She works in a coffee shop. And I mean, I just feel like that's just gonna be like the ultimate vibe while reading a cozy mystery about a coffee shop. Look how like big the text is in this as well. I mean, I'm definitely gonna read it on my Kindle, but still the text in this is huge. No guys, I literally need you to appreciate the cover of this book. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life? Like, fight me. That is the cutest thing I've ever seen. I mean, don't be fooled though, because the book's called Murder at the Beacon Bakeshop by Darci Hannah, which is the first book in the mystery Bakeshop series, I think the series is called. But it follows a woman that is split up from her like famous chef husband and moved for a fresh start to open a bake shop. Life's going great until one day her ex-husband and his new missus rock up in the town that she's moved into and set up a little successful bake shop. Her ex-husband's new missus then chokes on a donut and dies, so our main character is immediately suspect number one. Oh god, I can't. I need to read it now. I can't. This even says it includes recipes. Like, am I about to be in my baking era? One thing you should know about me is that pizza is my favourite food in the entire world. Like, my death row meal would be a pizza. Like, literally, gimme. So when I seen a slice of murder with this bloody cover, it had to come home with me. I checked out immediately. But this is book one in the Pizza Parlour Cozy Mystery series, and I mean, I literally could cry. Like, it's going to make me want to eat pizza every single day. I mean, I want to eat pizza every single day anyway, but even more so, like, it's making me hungry. Like, even the blurb says, but when Gina arrives, expecting a warm, cheesy welcome. No, I'm obsessed. I'm determined that I'm going to go to Rome this year because I need to eat pizza in Italy. Like, I literally do. But I do like pineapple on pizza. I feel like I might get kicked out if I tell them that. All three of these recommendations are from Amy Marie. I'll leave her YouTube down below. Honestly, she's my new favourite YouTuber. I love her. All 6 of these books are from Cara Hunter's Detective D.I. Adam Fawley series. I've only read one of the books, and the reason I'm holding all 6, like, let me justify this, is because I could get all 6 books in the series for £19 on Amazon. It worked out like £3.33 a book, so I was like, well, it's a no-brainer really, isn't it? I may as well just buy them all. Like I said, I've only read book 1 in the series, but the reason I wanted them all is because I love mixed media in my books, and these are told like in the form of mixed media. So there's 7 books out in total, but the 7th book's only just come out. That's out in hardback. So I just wanted to collect them all, you know, because like I just know I'm going to love them. And I feel like when books have mixed media in them, the best way to read them like is physically. I feel like it's harder to read them, stuff like that on Kindles. So I'm going to shut up justifying them now. I absolutely love mixed media in books, like love it so much. So if you've got any really good recommendations of books with mixed media in, please let me know. Mark Edwards' The Wasp Trap, that's really hard to say, was another arc that I was so excited to receive. I've been reading Mark Edwards' books now for like over 10 years, and typically his books have always been published through Amazon, but he's just got his first like traditionally published deal. So I think this is being published with Penguin Michael Joseph. So that's really, really exciting because like I said, I've been a fan of his for such a long time. So I believe this is set in like 1999, and a group of friends go to this big mansion with their college professor, and it ended in tragedy. And now it's 25 years later, and they're going back to have like a reunion dinner party, but the house isn't like, it's a bit suspicious, you know. When I tagged Mark Edwards that I'd received this, he sent me a message which like piqued my interest even more. I put it on the screen and I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Now I'm even more excited. This is another one that's coming out in July 2025, and I think I'm gonna like read them in a new release thriller vlog, you know, because I love filming vlogs. Sarah Waters' Fingersmith has been recommended to me so many times. Jack Jordan actually said it was one of his favourite books. And when I was in Waterstones, the bookseller also told me that this is one of their favourite books. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a sign. I'll bring you home with me, fine. I believe Sarah Waters bases the majority of her books in the Victorian era, and that's one of my favourite eras to read about when I'm reading like historical books. But I do think it's like a Victorian thriller still, with lesbians. It also says on the back that it's one of David Bowie's top 10 books. I want to know what the other 9 are. Noelle W. Ahele's Grey After Dark is mine and my friend's in-person book club pick for the month of April, I think. I've actually not read a book by this author yet, and I can't believe I haven't, as most of her books are all on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm a Kindle Unlimited girl. So I don't know why I've been putting this one off, but I'm really excited that I've heard such good things. There's actually another one that I've got my eye on from this author, because somebody said it's like a historical thriller, and like I just said, I love me a historical thriller. So I'm going to check out that one. I may order myself. I think it's called None Left to Tell. I'll put a picture on the screen of whichever one it is. This follows a girl who takes a job at a summer camp, and everybody tells her like, oh, it's haunted here. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Until one day she gets abducted and she's like, huh, I'm in trouble. I absolutely love these big paperbacks. Like a big trade size paperback. We don't really get them very often like in the UK. I think in America, like your paperback, I think this is your like standard paperback size, but in the UK, this is not, but I much prefer it. Also, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you go to the airport and buy books, they don't sell hardbacks. They only sell like trade paperbacks, so like massive versions of like the hardback books, but in paperbacks, and they are my favourite. Jack Jordan is the king of moral dilemmas. I'm forever recommending his books, and Redemption has just come out in paperback. Do I have the hardback copy of this? Yes, I do. Did I still want the paperback? Yes, I did. I adore the cover of this book, and I've actually got this scorpion like tattooed on my arm. Like, can you see? It's not from the book. I had it before the book came out, but like, fun fact, you know. This follows the parents of a little boy who was killed in a hit and run, and the person that was responsible for the hit and run has just come out of prison. But the little boy's mum is out for revenge. She doesn't think that the guy that killed her little boy served the time that he should have. So she's going to go out and she's going to enact her own form of revenge on him. It's a cat and mouse like thriller. But the writing of this, I can't explain to you. Like, I felt like all the pain, everything in this book. Like, go buy this. And the award for the best cover for this video goes to Love Letters to a Serial Killer by Tasha Carell. I think this is the nicest cover in this stack anyway. What do you think? I think the Cozy Mysteries might actually be my favourite. I'm lying. Anyway, this follows a woman that is obsessed with a serial killer. She's got a pen pal and he's a serial killer, because you mean, that's pretty normal, isn't it? I don't know if anyone's on Prison Talk. If you're on Prison Talk, there's some crazy stuff out there. I'm hoping this is going to have a bit of humour. I've seen quite a few reviews of it and people saying that they really did enjoy it. But I'm hoping it's going to give me like listen for the live vibes. I don't know why. Maybe it's the cover. But I've just got a feeling that it's going to be funny, you know? Like, let's hope. Thank You for Calling the Lesbian Line by Elizabeth Lovat is a non-fiction book all about the history of lesbians. I am a lesbian, and I love nothing more than learning about history and things that like shaped the way that things are now. And I'm hoping this is going to provide me with a bit of education as well as, yeah, learning. Like, I'm always so grateful, and I say it all the time, that like I'm so grateful that like I live in today's time. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, like far from it, but I'm so lucky and so privileged to live in the UK as a lesbian, when like it could be a lot worse, you know, which is mad to say really, isn't it? Like, I'm lucky to live where I live for like being who I am and not somewhere else. That's a bit deep. Anyway, moving on. Serial Killer Games by Kate Posse is a book that was sent to me, and I actually thought it was a thriller, but I've just read the back and it's not. It's a romance. It says on the back that it's like suspects, enemies to lovers, forced proximity, co-worker crush, grumpy meets sunshine, crossed out, also grumpy. So yeah, I think it's going to be more of a romance with like maybe a thriller subplot, but still, like, I don't mind a romance now and again, you know, little bit of a palate cleanser, especially if it's got like a touch of thriller. I'll definitely give it a go. But I know so many of you are actually romance lovers, so yeah, keep an eye out for this. What's that book that everyone was obsessed with last year? It was like Leather and Lark, and there was another one, wasn't there? Maybe it's going to give those vibes. John Mars, You Killed Me First. I couldn't believe it when this book arrived. It's a signed copy sent to me from John Mars himself. Like, I'm not showing off, I promise. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I wasn't expecting it. Like, it's literally personally signed to me. Wow. John Mars is my favourite author, so I can't explain how surreal it is, like, for your favourite author to like know who you are and like just send you books. Like, it's actually mental. This is now out. It came out on March the 4th. Like, it's getting glowing reviews. Everybody is literally having the best time reading it. I read it last year. I loved it. It's so much fun. Like, It gives me like Desperate Housewives vibes. It's very different for like John Mars's usual books. Like, I think you can tell like how much fun he had like writing these like 3 women like who live in like this neighborhood, and like, you know, something's happened because in the first chapter, one of them, you don't know which one, wakes up in a bonfire on bonfire night, and you're like, oh my god, how did we get here? This has also gone straight on Kindle Unlimited, so I mean, if you've not read it yet, that's even more of an excuse to like go read it. If you've read it, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of it. Claire Douglas, The New Neighbours. Claire Douglas is the queen of domestic thrillers. I've had a few people message me and say that they've not been able to get hold of this in America, so I'll put a link in the description to a website where you can actually get UK edition shipped to America, and it's completely free. The website's called Blackwell's, but I'll put the link to the website in the description so you can check it out, because honestly, Claire Douglas, like, if you don't get her books overseas, you don't know what you're missing out on. Look at like the yellow front door on the cover as well. Like, we really want a yellow front door. Like, I love it. A brand new family move in next door to our main character, and she overhears them like through the thin walls planning a crime, and she's like, oh my god, what do I do? Who do I tell about this? So like, yeah, they're just always domestic thrillers. They're so easy to read, and you just know like you're gonna have like a good solid fun time. The only thing I will say about Claire Douglas is all her covers like look the same. I'll put some on the screen so you can see what I mean, but like, I always get confused which ones I've read, because like, she's got a very distinctive style, but they're all so similar, and I'm like, I don't know which one I've read. The Midnight King by Tariq Ashkenani is coming out in April this year, and this book is claiming it's got the best plot twist of 2025. So I mean, like, my expectations going into this are like automatically going to be peaked because of that, right? That's a bold claim. Like, it literally says it, warning, contains the biggest twist of 2025. So like, I want to be shooketh, you know? This follows a guy whose dad was a serial killer. Like, it literally says from August 1994 until May 2008, 13 children from the greater Nashville area become victims of a serial killer. The press called him the Music City Monster. I called him Dad, but he called himself the Midnight King. That sounds good. Like, yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I'll come back and I'll let you know if it's got the biggest plot twist of 2025. Leave No Trace by Jo Callahan is book 2 in a detective series that she has, but they can all be read as standalones. So Leave No Trace is the second book, but it's just come out in paperback. I love the pink on this cover. The reason that this detective series is different to any others is because it follows an AI detective. So this AI detective works alongside a human detective, and they try and solve cases together. But like, how well can an AI detective solve cases? Like, when they've got like no human emotions, all they do is like analyze data and make decisions based on that. Like, do we need human instinct to be able to solve crimes? And I think that's like such an interesting premise. I think especially as well with like the rise of like AI in like our day-to-day lives. Like, I think this is like so forward thinking, and I can't wait to read it. I'm pretty sure book 3 is coming out now, but like I said, they can be all read as standalones anyway. But like, I do always like starting from book 1, you know? This is another one where I'm obsessed with the cover. Heather Darwin, A Sharp Scratch. I think this may be about cults. I think I may be jumping to conclusions, which is not unlike me. But from reading the back, I think it may be about cults. And I mean, if there's one thing I love, it's a cult. From the sounds of it, Betsy is the main character, and she's got problems. So she's offered the chance to go to this retreat where they promise they can fix you. They can heal you. So she's like, sure, on my way. If it's about cults, I will scream. Because I just don't feel like there's been that many cult books coming out this year. Like, there's so many good thriller books that have been announced, but I don't feel like many of them are cults. But I'm hoping this is. And if you know any good cult books, hit me up. Julie Chan is Dead is coming out in May 2025. And this premise, I'm obsessed. I've seen a couple of my friends who are reading this currently, and they've all been saying like really good things about it. Like, it's quite like a light-hearted and fun thriller. It follows like two identical twin sisters, and one of them dies and the other twin sister finds her. The twin sister that's died is like this big social media influencer, and the other twin sister is not. So instead of calling the police and saying my twin sister's dead, she just assumes the role of her sister. She begins faking. She steps into her sister's shoes and doesn't tell anybody that her sister is dead. Like, it just sounds like a good time, you know? The pink and yellow is given, and yeah, I'm gonna love it. And it also sounds like it's not gonna be that serious. And you know, like sometimes when you're reading like so many thrillers that are so dark, that sometimes you just need a bit of a break. I feel like that's gonna give that. Right guys, we're in the final hurdle. We're in the last 4 books, and the next one we've got is Nikki French, The Last Days of Ciara Mullen. So I think Nikki French, I've never read a book by them, but I think this is a husband and wife writing duo. Can you imagine writing with your other half? Oh my god, me and Amy would kill each other. Maybe that's a good plot for a book. Nobody steal that. Nobody steal that idea. This follows a couple who move in London to a brand new flat, and the day after, their neighbour commits suicide. But one of the couple doesn't think that she committed suicide. She thinks that there may be more to it. The plot of this is given She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica. That sounds very similar. I've also got another book by this author. Has anyone seen Charlotte Salter? And I've not read that. I've got that in paperback. It's on my shelf. I must catch up. The Women by Kristen Hanna is now out in paperback, and I am in my Kristen Hanna era. I'm currently on my 3rd book by her. I started out with The Women. I read this last year. I read it when it came out in a hardback, but I actually did it on audio. The audiobook is incredible. I'm doing all of Kristen Hanna's books on audio because whoever a narrator is, like, she is top tier storyteller. This follows a girl called Frankie who went off to Vietnam in the Vietnam War to work as a nurse. And when she came back, she was kind of expecting like a hero's welcome. But when everyone got back from Vietnam, they were like, what you on about? There was no women in Vietnam. And it just follows her throughout like a large span of her life. Like, it's got the most amazing found family. It's a heartbreaking story. And I actually learned so much stuff about the Vietnam War that I knew nothing about. So yeah, Kristen Hanna is quickly becoming like one of my favourite authors. I've read 2 books of hers this month so far. Like, obsessed. Another arc that I couldn't quite believe I received was It's Always the Husband by C.L. Taylor. C.L. Taylor is another one of my favourite thriller authors. Her release last year was called Every Move You Make, and that was incredible. And I love the title of this, like, because it's always the husband, isn't it? It's always the man. It's never the women. It's always men. Men are the problems. I'm sorry if I have any men watching my channel. Ashley, you're my best mate. I love you. But I believe from the front alone, like, 1, dead wife is tragic, 2 starts to look a bit like murder. So I'm feeling that we're going to be following a dodgy man. But it's not going to be the husband now, is it? Like, that's throwing us off. Maybe that is the trickery. Maybe they're trying to get us to think it's not the husband and it's going to be. I don't know. I should probably tell you when this comes out. June. Comes out in June. And the last book of this epic final boss book haul is Little Red Death by A.K. Benedict. This was in my like 2025 book releases that I'm so excited for. I'll link that video up above if you want to go check it out. But I'm so excited about this because I think it's going to be like a play on fairy tales. Like, it's a serial killer that is copying fairy tales. And I mean, come on. If you ever watched that TV series Once Upon a Time, like, that was so good. Like, was it, the town was called Storybrooke, wasn't it? Was that what it's called? I loved it. This has only just recently been released. I want to say it came out like the end of February, the beginning of March. So it is a brand new release and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to read all of these books. Like, there's just not enough time, is there? So many books, not enough time. And if you've seen my pre-order list, you would be shooketh. But books are a taxable deduction, so that's how I justify it, all right? That's ridiculous. This isn't even all of them. I can't even pick all of them up. If you're still here, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm having the best time on YouTube. I can't explain how welcome you've all made me feel. I literally love it here. Please hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've read any of these books. And I'll see you next time.